For more than 20 years now, an amazing initiative called the Memory Project has been connecting young people all over the globe using the simple but really powerful medium of art. In this explainer, we're going to dive into how it all started, some of the lives it's changed, and the huge challenge it's facing right now.
Just let that sink in for a second. I don't know what I looked like. These are the words that kicked the whole thing off. Imagine that, having no tangible proof of your own childhood. It really gets to the heart of a need that's about so much more than just food or a roof over your head. It's the need to be seen, to be remembered. So, I really want you to think about that. What if you had zero photos? No little keepsakes from when you were a kid? The Memory Project was basically born from this one question. The founder, Ben Schumacher, he calls it a psychosocial need, which is really just the deep, fundamental human need for kids to have a record of their own life story, to know that they exist and that they matter. Okay, so where did this all come from? Well, let's rewind to 2003. Ben Schumacher was fresh out of college, and he was volunteering at this orphanage in Guatemala. And I mean, this place was remote. You could only get there by boat. He was snapping pictures of the kids on his old film camera when a man who'd actually grown up there said something to him that lit the spark for this entire project. And that conversation led to this. The idea that came out of it was just beautiful in its simplicity. What if talented high school art students back in the US could use their skills to create portraits for kids in places like orphanages and refugee camps? It's not just a gift, you see. It's a memory, a physical keepsake, and a way to build a real connection between young people from totally different worlds. So how does an idea like that actually become a reality? Well, the process itself is pretty amazing. It literally uses art as a bridge connecting two very different lives. It's such a powerful cycle. It all starts with a simple photograph of a child. That photo travels maybe thousands of miles to an art student. That student then spends hours really looking at that child's face, creating a one-of-a-kind handmade portrait. And then, finally, that piece of art travels all the way back across the world to be given to that child as a personal gift. It's this beautiful loop of seeing and being seen. But the story doesn't stop there, because the real magic of this project, its true purpose, goes way deeper than just the painting itself. It's all about the human connection that it makes possible. Now, this is the part I love. It might sound a little strange, but for the kids who receive these portraits, the back of the artwork is often just as meaningful as the front. This is where the art stops being an object and starts being a conversation. So on the back of every single portrait, the student artist puts a picture of themselves and a tracing of their own hand. The founder says that when he delivers the art, the kids are always fascinated by this. They can see the person who made this for them, and they can literally put their hand up to the tracing. It's like a symbolic high five across continents. The art is the vehicle, for sure, but this is the destination, a real moment of shared humanity. Now, the project has reached kids in 58 countries, which is incredible. But the founder himself says that Afghanistan is the country that has called to my heart the most. And here, the project took on this whole other layer of meaning and urgency. For years, the Memory Project made portraits specifically for girls in Afghanistan. It was a way for them to know that other young people, way on the other side of the world, were cheering them on, celebrating their courage just for going to school. Can you imagine being a little girl running home with this beautiful portrait that was made just for you? What a powerful message. And then, of course, the Taliban returned to power. And it was just devastating. But the project's commitment didn't just stop. It actually evolved. Today, the organization is directly supporting 20 orphaned Afghan girls who they helped move to Pakistan. They're giving them a home, and most importantly, the chance to keep going to school. It's a lifeline, preventing the child marriage that was likely their fate otherwise. So after 2 decades of this incredible work, the Memory Project is now facing some really big problems of its own. Its future and all these connections it creates, well, it's more uncertain than ever. First, let's just take a second to appreciate the scale we're talking about here. Over 330,000 young people have been a part of this. That's a mind-blowing legacy of kindness. But that momentum, it's taken a major hit. Yeah, the numbers don't lie. Before the pandemic, you had about 30,000 students taking part every year. Today, that number's been sliced in half. It's down to just 15,000. So the obvious question is, why? What's going on? Well, the project surveyed the art teachers who really make this all happen in schools. And the answers are, well, a sign of the times. A huge 83% of teachers are reporting high levels of job stress. They're also seeing how phones have changed students' attention spans, making it harder to get them excited about the slow, focused work of making art by hand. And on top of it all, fewer kids are even signing up for art classes to begin with.
And then you've got the funding model. The project has always relied on a small participation fee from students. But get this, that fee has been stuck at just $15 per student since 2006. For 20 years, it hasn't changed. With costs for everything going up, that model just isn't working anymore. So what's the game plan? The new goal is a bold one. Get rid of the participation fees completely. The hope is that a large art museum or a university might be willing to adopt the program, cover its operational costs, and let it be offered for free to any student who wants to participate. And all of this kind of brings us to a final thought to leave you with. We live in a world where we're just drowning in digital images. We scroll past hundreds, maybe thousands every single day. They're here one second, gone the next. So it really makes you ask the question, in a world like this, what is the real value of one unique handmade portrait? What's the worth of a single, tangible memory created by one person for another, simply as an act of kindness?